Today on the channel, watch out for worms and watch out for jump scares with WWE From the Vault Series 5, The Boogeyman.
And the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for another WWE From the Vault Mattel Elite unboxing and review. And today, we're diving into Series 5 with the Boogeyman. But for all your Boogeyman needs and a whole lot more, make sure you hit up Ringside Collectibles. Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Got to get a deal out there, and that's exactly what I did. Grabbed these from Ringside. Also picked up John Cone Chase Edition. And as usual, we'll unbox the Chase Edition and rank the entire wave later on down the line. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You guys know the drill by now. And of course, going to do this review like we do all the other reviews on the channel. We're going to take a look at the packaging. We're going to talk about it. We're going to unbox it. We're going to talk about it. We're going to see where it goes from there. The Boogeyman rides again. I guess technically this will be, what, the fourth Boogeyman figure from Mattel? It's almost time for a top 10 Boogeyman. Maybe we'll do that for Halloween on the channel. Who knows? But Boogeyman riding back in style. Not sure if this would have been a top 10, 20, 30 pick for me personally from the Vault line. But it's an interesting one. It almost makes you wonder, are they coming to the end of the agreement with the Boogeyman? Said, hey, let's get this out there before the end. I guess who knows on that one there. But interesting to get a new Boogeyman. The last time we got him was an Elite line probably 15, 20 series ago. And he was also the Chase in that one, if you remember, right? Check out the reviews on the channel, of course. But this one is the original Boogeyman re-released with all the new bells and whistles. Of course, got the From the Vault packaging design on here. Series 5 WWE True Effects. Ringside exclusive, of course. And then you got the name down here. What's it say? Series 5, 8 and up. 8 and up on here. You 7-year-olds, you can't handle these worms, that's for sure. Boogeyman on the side, looking only like a Boogeyman could look if a Boogeyman was in Elite Series 5 here of the Vault. Same thing over here. And on the back, get a little bit of a blurb action there. Got the cross-sell unboxing each and every one of these on the channel, so stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Once again, height, 6'2", 260 pounds. Did you know, as part of his entrance, Boogeyman would eat live worms after smashing a giant clock over his head? And Todd, you do something very similar, but without the clock. You just eat the worms out of the backyard. Todd's a wild man. He's a wild man with those toes. But looking good on the back of the package here, of course. Celebrate the history of these WWE legends. How about that? Now let's get this Boogeyman out of the package here. And who's scared of the Boogeyman? What is the Boogeyman? The only Boogeyman that ever scared me in my entire life, and I wouldn't say I was having nightmares about it, but of course the real Ghostbusters cartoon Once Upon a Time, that Boogeyman was an all-timer episode, the best episode ever of Ghostbusters. See you later, goodbye. Really wish I could have dived into that Mondo line. You can only collect so much stuff, and you can only afford so much stuff. Really wish I could have jumped into that Mondo Ghostbuster line, but here we are. But there's the old Boogeyman right there. Looking good, looking extra Boogeyman-esque. How about? And I did notice a little different on this one, and obviously these are re-releases with a twist. They got some new bells and, of course, the whistles. You're right, Todd McFarlane. I was getting there. Todd always interrupted, and I got this new microphone here. Lapel mic, is that what they call that thing? And unfortunately, you can't pick up Todd McFarlane's voice from that. So it's kind of sad you don't get to hear him chiming in, but I can hear him. It just doesn't pick up on the mic. That's the way it goes, though. That's the way it goes, of course. Dare I say that's the way the cookie crumbles? Maybe. Let's get this Boogeyman out of the package here. Well, let's get down to business. Boogeyman business. See you later. Goodbye. All right, we're going to start it off. And we do get Boogeyman's clock here, of course. Always great to tell time, but I don't know. What was the significance of the clock for the Boogeyman? Obviously, he bashed it over his head, but it was like, time's up, I guess. The Boogeyman's here. Time's up, kids. I'm going to eat you, and I'm going to eat some worms. I guess that's what it was. But we've seen this before. Gotta get the most out of your molds. I do appreciate the Mattel team putting the rubber bands over it because this is a breakaway clock. Personally, I don't need a breakaway clock. I guess if you're a kid out there playing, it's fun to have. Sounds like a recipe for losing pieces disaster, if you ask me. But I do like the twist ties over here. I guess the rubber bands over here holding it down. That's how it's going to stay for me. I don't need this breaking apart. But I like this. We've seen it before. Got to get the most out of your molds. But it's a nice clock, of course. No problems with this one here. Very old-timey clock, too. Everybody loves an old-timey clock, of course, unless you don't. Now, we do get his stick here, and you got the little red on the end here. Always looking good. A little red rocket on the end here, it looks like. But it looks like he grabbed a tree branch somewhere in the forest and grabbed this off. Has a few other little things in here, and then it's red at the top, but it is his stick of doom, I guess, and he's going to use it as a weapon. You never know what he might use it for. A little rubbery, but it is a nice accessory for the Boogeyman. And speaking of accessories for the Boogeyman, how about some worms? Oh, yeah, Todd, you love eating worms. We know that. We've talked about that before on the channel. Got some worms with the Boogeyman. Now, the original version did not come with worms. That was for the later edition I was referencing that came with the Chase edition. So we get a little bit of that technology moved into here. So we're getting another use out of this worm. Obviously using that head sculpt from before, paint it with the original one. Voila, you got a kind of a new version of the Boogeyman here. It is a re-release, but there is bells and whistles, and that's the first thing I noticed right off the bat. You can stick that in his mouth if you want the worms hanging out, and who doesn't want that? That's just an extra nice visual for the Boogeyman. Looking good with those worms right there. Diving into the face, looking extra scary here. Reminded me of a young Rasta the Voodoo Man from GWF back on ESPN when I was a kid. Or maybe a Papa Shango even, you could almost think that. Could him and Papa Shango been an ultimate tag team? Oh, you never know what could have happened. But he does look good here. I always like this face paint scheme. I always like the Boogeyman's face paint in general. I like that all creepy red one he wore. He did a really good job on that kind of stuff. But I do like the looks here, the red on the ears, the black face paint over it, the red, the dots all over the place. Of course, missing the teeth in the middle, perfect to put the worms in there, as we know. He does got his whole... we'll call it a shawl, Todd. A shawl, we're going shawl on this one here. He's got the shawl over the top, fur, real animal fur, if I'm not mistaken there. I believe that's George the Animal Steele's hair when he was a producer and agent in the back, and they made that out of that, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, you got some of the tassels around the bicep on this one here. Once again, hair braided down, extra creepy. You got the actual tassels here in black, wrist black tape there, of course, around the wrist. 2 gripping hands here, no extra hands outside of that. So the Boogeyman keeping it clean, no punches and bunches, anything like that. Looking good right there. You do got the bare chest outside of that. Then you get down to the legs. Very sculpted in here. He's got kind of that feel like Aquaman. If you've ever had an Aquaman figure, he kind of has that feel on his tights here, or I guess his pants, I guess. Then you got some color in there, some browns and stuff. Definitely cool looking, though. Nice and black. Down to the black boots here. First thing I noticed on the black boots, you got the old style articulation on this one. Going to be interesting to see. Made in Vietnam, it says. So we're going to wave that flag. We're going to celebrate Vietnam, or we're going to curse Vietnam here in a second, because we're diving into the articulation. Arms all the way around for us. Bicep cut. Double jointed. Pinless elbows. That's the update right here. Todd, what do you think about pinless joints? You know what you think. You don't like them. That's right. He likes those pins. He says, oh, give me all pins. Give me no arm. Give me full pins. But pinless over here, that is one of the differences. Hands are removable on this one where they weren't on the other one without heat and stuff. So there is some differences there. Ab crunch for him. Waist articulation, a little loose in that waist on mine. Your mileage may vary. Splits, we got him. Leg, unfortunately, that right leg, that's the nemesis in the Vietnam War. The whole war, Todd, started around these right legs over here, and we got it once again. I've seen worse, but I've seen better. There's just not a lot of movement in that right leg. Some reason they have that there, where left leg, you get a lot more movement, and then you get a little bounce back on the right. So it's weird how it's just tight in there. They just haven't dialed that in yet, and that's the way it goes on factory. You could have a bread line going. You can have an Oreo line going. You got to dial it in. The first few might not work out so good. You got to get it going. And that's why it's so important to get volume. And anything mass-produced, the more you make, a lot of times the quality is better. You make a little amount, sometimes the quality isn't as good. Maybe that's more food products, but I think it handles into this as well. Pro tip out there. Pro tip from the factories. Now, one thing Todd McFarlane's going to like on this is you get pinned knees on here. You know he's in on those pinned knees, but they are double-jointed pinned knees, so I will say good, bravo to that. And then we got the old-style ankle articulation on this one right here. A little wonky on the left where the right's a little bit tighter, so it's like they didn't get it all sealed all the way on mine. Oh, trying to push it in there. I don't know. Interesting for sure. But of course, does he fit on a ringside collectible stand? Use discount code Kyle. Save yourself 10%. Look at that. The Boogeyman fitting on the stand, ready to take on the world is what he's ready to do. But wait, there's more. I got the original version over here. Similar but different, as one may say. Very similar. Same shawl over the top, same armbands there, same hands, pinless joints, of course, on the new one, not the old one. Same walking stick, of course. We got that same clock as well. Same pants. Yep, same lower hands, same pants, everything on this one here. So not a ton of difference here. The biggest difference outside of the pinless joints or the pinless joints is the mouth. You get the updated head sculpt where you can put the worms in. That makes a big difference between this one, just the visuals of those. That's how I'm going to display it. I'm going to display it in a different pose. Unfortunately, no extra hands to make differences there. Put them in a different pose, put the worms in this one, no worms in this one, and we'll call it good. That's going to be the differences between these two. I think for the average collector out there, you tell me if I'm wrong, the average collector probably doesn't need to pick this one up because they have the old one. It's probably good enough for them. But if you're all in, you're a completist, you want the updated joints, you missed out on this once upon a time, this is the perfect Boogeyman for you. So check it out, of course, over there at Ringside Collectibles. Tell them Kyle sent you. So there it is, the Boogeyman. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day. And then some. We got even more content for you on YouTube channel memberships and Patreon. Your best way to support the channel. Sir Paul64 on the X, the _Kyle_Peterson on Threads, Instagram, TikTok, and the Kyle Peterson Show at gmail.com. My brand new podcast each and every Tuesday wherever podcasts are found, with video cast on YouTube, breaking everything down over there. Check it out. You won't be disappointed, or maybe you will, Todd. You've been disappointed a few times, you said. You got to see for yourself, though. Check out the Kyle Peterson Show, of course. So there it is, from the Vault, Series 5, the Boogeyman. Till next time, see you guys all real soon.
Well, are we gonna dance or are we gonna play?
Get that real guitar.